Hey everybody, here we are for week 4 of the Fittest of the Coast qualifier. We've got workout 5 out and we finally got our gymnastics. We've got a whole bunch of pulling gymnastics in this workout and it's separated by a lot of double unders. I tested out a couple of rounds before we got on this video, and some of the things that I can tell you right off the bat, this is gonna be breathy. The double unders are gonna jack up your breathing. They're gonna make it so you feel a little more out of breath when you get to the bar. It's gonna definitely make it so that you feel like you need to rest more than you should. And I'll talk about that a little more when we talk about how to break the chest bar and break the different gymnastics movements. But the big takeaway here is this is gonna be breathy. You're gonna have to embrace that as you go into the workout. Now, this week, just like in the previous weeks, we've got our Fittest of the Coast qualifier strategy guide. You can download that in the link below. We've got everything that you need in there to figure out how you're gonna break the chest bar, how you're gonna break the pull-ups, how you're gonna break the bar muscle ups, should you break the double unders. Now, I'll reiterate some of that stuff in this video, but the big keys here are going to be figuring out whether or not you need to break early on in the double unders and how you're going to break in the pulling gymnastics, unless you are just the absolute top elite of elite fitness and you're trying to finish first in the elite version of this qualifier. Now, for everybody else, what we're looking to do is figure out how we're going to break the double unders and how we're going to break the bar gymnastics. For the double unders, for the sets of 50, the first 3 rounds, most people are probably going to be able to get away going unbroken with those double unders. However, I'm not sure that that's necessarily the best strategy for everyone. I've done workouts, including some of the age group qualifier workouts this past year, where I broke sets of 50 into 25-25, simply to keep my heart rate down and to control my breathing. And also with this workout being back and forth between the pull-up bar and the jump rope, it's gonna help preserve some of that forearm fatigue. So if double unders are not in your wheelhouse, one of your best movements, you might consider doing a quick break at 25-25. A break on double unders takes you about 3 seconds. That's it. You're not going to add that much fatigue, but just taking some of that tension off and stopping the bounding can really bring your heart rate down. Now, I'm not saying that that's necessary, and most people watching this video, you probably have double unders that are proficient enough to get through the 3 sets of 50 and stay unbroken, and you can just ignore that. But there are definitely people that are watching who are looking at the double unders and thinking, that's the hard part in this workout. You might consider breaking them from the start. Now, for everyone else, the first 3 rounds, do your double unders unbroken and ignore all of that advice. Now, when we get to the pull-ups, the regular chin over bar pull-ups here, I'm gonna recommend that most people, again, break these early on in the workout. I know that 15 chin over bar pull-ups probably is not anywhere near your max capacity, but this workout has 90 reps of bar gymnastics in total, and it finishes with the most complex bar gymnastics movements, the bar muscle up. So you're gonna want to break those early on. I'm gonna recommend just 2 sets. If you start out, go 8-7, 8-7, 8-7 for each round. That's a good, consistent strategy that should get you through those pull-ups very quickly. Now, once you finish those 3 rounds, you're moving into a little bit of a harder variation. We have 2 rounds of 75 double unders and 15 chest to bar pull-ups. And those 75 double unders, that advice I gave in the first bit where you might want to break if double unders aren't your strong point, most people are now going to want to take a short break in these double unders. I'm going to recommend something like 40 reps, then 35 reps, or 45 reps, then 30 reps. If you're someone who likes to do a big chunk right off the bat, then go 45-30. If you're someone who struggles with transition time and you're going to stand there with the rope in your hands before starting, then do your smaller set first. Do 40 and then 35 or something like that. That's going to make it so that instead of standing and just waiting to start your double unders, you can get right into them right away. Now that break, what it's going to do, it's just going to lower your heart rate and bring your breathing down just for a second. I'm not talking about taking a long break, going into a squat, putting your elbows on your knees and hanging out. I'm literally talking about stopping your jump rope for a second, taking a couple breaths, 1, 2, 3, and starting your double unders again. That right there will just bring the overall level of fatigue down in this workout and create a momentary pause where there really isn't going to be much room to rest. Now on the chest to bar here, right, we've got 2 sets of 15, so 30 total reps. I'm going to recommend for most people breaking this into 3 sets. If you're in the RX, some of the 35-39, 40-44 divisions, that's going to be your sweet spot. If you're elite, maybe you're going to consider doing them unbroken or in 2 sets. And then for everybody else, maybe think 4 sets, 5 sets there, even going down to triples by the end, starting with maybe 5, 4, 3, 3, or something like that. It's going to just allow you to get through the movement pretty quickly and have a minimal amount of dead time. Another thing that's really important is there are a lot of transitions in this workout, and you're going to be bouncing between the rope and the rig. And one of the places that people lose a lot of time is during that transition time, thinking that they have to rest either between the last jump rope and their first pull-up or their first bar gymnastics movement, or from the bar gymnastics back to the rope. That should be a transition that you move as quickly as possible into, and then take your breaks in the movement. That's especially true in the bar gymnastics. So for most people, I'm going to recommend that 6, 5, 4, or a 5, 5, 5 break there. If you are not as proficient in chest to bar, consider just a descending set going down to smaller sets. Even something like a 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 gets you to 15 reps and actually gets you done in pretty manageable chunks. Now, once you finish your 2 rounds there, you get to the crux of this workout, and it's the 150 double unders followed by your 15 bar muscle ups. At this point, you will have done already a minimum of 300 double unders going into this. So you are going to need to have a strategy for getting through these 150, unless again, you're on that upper end of the bell curve, at which point, why are you watching this video? You don't need strategy, you already know what you're doing. So for everybody else, that 150 double under chunk, you're going to want to have a breaking plan. 2 sets, 75-75 is probably going to be too aggressive for most people. So I'm going to recommend breaking it into 50, 50, 50. I've even seen people do high rep double under workouts using sets of 30 and get away with it and be just fine, as long as you manage your rest really well. Keep the break when you pause from that double under to 3 to 5 seconds, just enough time to get 2 to 3 breaths and get right back into it. That's going to make you so you can move through that 150 double unders as fast as possible. When you get to the bar muscle ups, this is so individual at this point. I'm going to recommend that most people try to go with an opening set of like 5, but that's really based on the people that are competing in the RX, the Pro division, some of the younger Masters divisions. For everybody else, I've seen sets of 3 and singles work for some of the older Masters divisions. This is entirely individual, and at this point, your grip and breathing and heart rate are all going to be maxed out, and you're just going to have to go do the best that you can. Some of the things that you can do throughout the workout to make sure that your grip doesn't get quite as fatigued, to break those double unders, like I said, even if you can do the double unders unbroken, it's going to fatigue your grip. You're turning the rope 450 times throughout the course of the workout. So just keep in mind that your best strategy for preserving the grip is to break the gymnastics early and break the jump rope up even before you think you have to. Now, that's all your main points of performance. We talked about minimizing your transition between the workout or between the movements. We talked about taking your bigger breaks in the movements, especially when you're on that bar for the bar gymnastics pieces, and breaking it early and often. Those are my big pieces of strategy for this workout. Make sure you download that guide. Good luck in this last week. I'll see you on the leaderboard. Let's go crush it.